Hey, this is Tyler Moon, and I wanted to share a little bit about my journey along my life and where I met Myra and what she helped me with timeline therapy. I come from a long line of struggle personally, a long line of self sabotage, of trying really hard to make something happen and being really focused on it and working really hard at it, but it just never really working. And it always blowing up in your face and it always finding a way to get screwed up and never working out. I come from a very long history of that, and I really had my first life's purpose when I was 13 years old, of being a musician, of being a brass player actually, and I worked for 9 years on that goal. Went to college for it. Went to undergrad. Was studying to become a performer, and never even got close. And it's not because I didn't work hard. It's not because I didn't study. It's not because I didn't practice. It was just because I had this block around achieving things that were important to me and around getting things that I really wanted that were important to me. I could never, I would achieve other things in my life very easily, but the things that were really mattered and were important and that were really my goals, I could just never seem to do it. It would always, I would always screw myself over in some way. And in pops, after I basically got out of music, after I was just totally burnt out, just to a crisp on it, didn't even want to be a musician anymore. I started business because my school didn't have any other like a music business degree. They didn't have that, so I did half music, half business. And I didn't know anything about business before that. I took really well to it. I eventually started my own company because I said, well, probably not going to want to work for somebody else. And I didn't know anything. And I noticed very quickly that the same beliefs, the same habits, the same problems really, they drifted from music into business. And I got very scared. I got really unnerved. I got really anxious. A lot of the anxiety that I had with music that brought me into the hospital multiple times a week, it transferred to business, and it was going down the same track again. Now luckily I met Myra's husband Andre about 2 years after having my business. And at that point I had wanted to make $3,000 um, profit, because I knew that at that level I could basically do this full time. I wouldn't need to get a job. So Andre helped me do that, but they're really the block was still there, so I had to push through that in order to get to the three, and the block was still there. So like I kept sabotaging myself after that. So eventually Andre said, "Look, we've been working for a while. You might want to talk with my wife Myra about timeline therapy." Now I didn't know what timeline therapy was. I didn't even know how to really like. I guess spelling it's not that hard, but I had never heard of it before. And so as soon as he said that, I had this feeling that like this thing with Myra, I didn't know anything about it at all, didn't know the definition, didn't know what was entailed, but somehow I knew that this was the thing that would actually get me out of this hole that I dug for myself, that I couldn't dig out of myself, this emotional and mental trap and prison that I'd created that didn't let me basically get what I want. I would always go forward and then then I would get afraid of losing what I had gotten on my way to what I wanted. The fear would then bring me backwards and make me lose it, because then I'd act out of fear, and we all know acting out of fear is usually doing nothing. So that was the spiral that I was in, and I couldn't break it. I couldn't break it with willpower. I couldn't break it with, meditation and affirmations and all the stuff that people tell you to do. Didn't work for me. So I booked some sessions with Myra. We ended up having 4 or 5 sessions. There was a lot more than I thought to go through for me. But afterwards, I very quickly acquisitioned another company. Within months, within months of working with Myra, within like 2 months, I acquisitioned another company. I got out of the business that I was doing, which was just retail. Now I'm in manufacturing. We're making a product that we love to make, making a lot more than we used to make. But more than that, Myra helped clear emotional blockages that was not letting me be who I am. It was stopping me. It was holding me up. And I don't know if anybody watching this has felt that, but this thing inside you, that is not letting you be who you are, who you know that you are. And it's not letting you get the life that you want. It stops you every single time. And it gets very annoying and it gets very frustrating. But it's always there. And you try everything and it doesn't work. Well, I can't say timeline therapy will work for everybody, but for myself, it definitely worked. It was the catalyst to bring me from who I was to the life that I have now, with a great business. I also met the love of my life soon after, doing timeline therapy with Myra. And that relationship is absolutely absurdly stellar all the time. Not like better than a relationship I thought I could ever have. And we worked on that in timeline therapy. So, Myra, I want to thank you for everything that you've done and that your family's done for me and my companies, but really just me personally. I want to thank you for taking the time of however many hours we invested in timeline therapy to help a young man through things that he didn't know how to do himself. Because it's been worth more than you can imagine. So thank you.